Hi, I'm Rosie. Welcome to my podcast called Yoga Pose. I'm Yoga Pose. My family used to call me Rosie Pose. And I feel like their nickname made me destined to become a yoga teacher. These episodes are a chance for me to share more of myself and my journey, as well as the benefits of yoga and meditation as I see them. So expect stories, sutras, and jokes, because I think I'm pretty funny and laughing is going to help us loosen up. Yoga isn't a game, but there's no reason we can't play. So being playful stops us striving, and we become explorers simply for the pleasure of it. This episode is called, oh my God, I'm not sure how it's going to go, but let's get into it. I'm going to suggest that we all believe in God or something higher than ourselves. Don't get too focused on the word God because it can be a bit triggering, right? So I had a Catholic education, and my first experience of God and praying was taught by the church. And it took me a little while to find my own meaning of these words. So one of my cats went missing recently. Just for the night, she was fine. If this had happened a few years ago, I would have lost my mind, been incredibly worried and crying and letting my mind go to the worst place, sitting up all night, completely freaking out. But as it was, I thought things through. She's a clever cat. She would have found somewhere to sleep for the night. So I went to bed and did a really beautiful meditation. It's a golden thread meditation where you call your cat home. I'll put the details of that meditation on the show notes because it gave me so much comfort that night. So I went to bed and I got up early the next morning, went outside and called to her, and she made a sound like, hiya, from a bush like a few houses down, and came running home. She was absolutely fine and oblivious to the stress that she had caused. So I think we all believe in God or something, because when you hear something shocking or unbelievable or scandalous, you're likely to say, oh my God, or OMG. In those dark moments when my cat was missing, I know my family and friends were making silent pacts with God, praying she'd find her way home. Just as an aside, I remember when I was a kid, we'd been taught to pray. So one year before my exams, I was like, okay, I'm going to try this stuff out. And I made super selfish prayers about how I'd like to do well in my exams. And if I did well, yeah, I'll definitely believe in you. I'll go to church like every Sunday, and I'll help my parents more. You got to be careful with what pacts you make, yeah? Because bit annoying. I did brilliantly in my exams. I do think that's because I studied, though. I mean, maybe God got me some questions that I could answer as well, but I studied really hard. But whatever happened in those exams, I felt obliged after to carry out the promises I made. It was a very good lesson to learn early on, and I'm very careful with what I promise God or anyone else now. So God is there in those times of need, exams and cats missing. But I also think God is there for you in the good times, right? So in the throes of passion, you'd have said or thought, oh my God. Cat Williams is an American comedian, and I'm a bit late to the party. I've just got into him. He's got this bit in one of his shows where he asks, like, what do atheists scream when they're with a partner? They're like, oh yeah, that feels so good. Oh my, nothing. That's all I have. That's it. So that's the comedy. Here comes the science part. In his book, The Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton is a former medical school professor and a research scientist. He discusses his own experiments and those of other leading-edge scientists that have unraveled in great detail how truly connected the mind, body, and spirit are. And it's now widely recognized that genes and DNA do not control our biology. Instead, they are controlled by signals from outside the cell, including energetic messages emanating from our thoughts. So I've talked in previous episodes about the web of connection. And the story is so beautiful that I'll tell you again. This is a Buddhist teaching which depicts the universe as a net of infinite proportions. At each interlacing point where the strings of the net meet, there's a multifaceted, highly reflected jewel like a diamond. Each jewel reflects the others, including the reflective image held in the others. So to look at one jewel at one point is to see the reflection of all jewels at all points. Well, when my cat went missing, I was given advice by the vet to post about her in local Facebook pages, and the response was incredible. So many people know my cats. People are telling me how my cats come to visit. They feed them. Sometimes my cats steal their food, like Yorkshire puddings. I'm so sorry. They were saying they don't mind because they're so beautiful. And, lots of people messaging to say that they're going to check in their garden for my cat and leave food out. And one person even left their porch open overnight in case she wanted to take shelter there. So, yeah, obviously, I love my cats, right? I don't talk about them much because social convention has taught me people don't like it. However, this story is worth sharing. My two little cats are really sweet and friendly. In the summer I can hear my neighbours feeding the cats or children playing with them in other gardens, and they give them all sorts of funny names. My cats give me a huge amount of pleasure, but I hadn't fully appreciated how wide their patch was and how much pleasure they give to other people. So it's like we're in this feline web of connection in my neighbourhood. It's so beautiful. These cats have helped me to love again, okay? They came into my life at a time when I was really unhappy, had PTSD and compassion fatigue. I'd basically burned out all of my caring receptors by caring too much in the charity work that I was doing. I'm not going to suggest that anyone struggling with their emotional well-being should get a cat, although it's not a bad idea. But I am sharing how my cats helped me, and it turns out they give my local community a lot of pleasure, as do all the cats in the area. There's a really perfect quote in the movie called On Yoga, The Architecture of Peace, in which they say, "It's not what we go through in life, it's how we go through it." So my cat Alma going missing was a really rough night for me, but I used the tools that I offer in classes, and like I said, I'll share that meditation in my show notes. I think it's instinctive to pray or to hope or to wish when you want something, when you're distressed or in pain, but I don't know how instinctive it is to say thanks for when you get the thing you wanted. When my cat came home, obviously I was really happy. I thanked all the lovely people in my community for their kindness, and I made a donation to Lost Cats of Brighton because they do wonderful work, and I was just so pleased I didn't need their support this time. I got so much from the people that night, I was blown away. I had a really busy teaching schedule the next day. I'd already spoken to a friend to say, depending on how this goes, I might not be able to teach, I might need cover. But I really didn't. I was absolutely desperate to give back. And that's what I feel like every time I teach. I never get nervous or anxious. I'm always so pleased and grateful to give to people. And my style of teaching has become far warmer and more caring over the years. I've met some of my best friends through teaching, and I've seen people meet some of theirs. So going back to Bruce Lipton, he says in his profoundly hopeful synthesis of the latest and best research in cell biology and quantum physics, he puts the power to create a healthy and joyous life back into our own hands. What he's suggesting is that when we transform our conscious and subconscious thoughts, we transform our lives. And in the process, we help humanity evolve into a new level of understanding and peace. Oh, thank God for that. Thank you so much for listening, if indeed you still are. You can visit doyouromthing.co.uk to see my teaching timetable, workshops, and retreats. I would love to connect with you in person. This podcast is about building a community, so keep reaching out to me. Do Your Om Thing is my Instagram handle and Facebook page. Before you go, think about your karma, okay? You've enjoyed this episode, hopefully as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. So help a yogini out by sharing and leaving a review. I read every single comment and they inspire me so much. I'm not kidding, please leave a review. Don't make me sell out and get sponsorship and do adverts. Thank you so much for listening to Yoga Pose.